Hi, so now I'm going to talk a little bit more about the type system and how functions work inside this editor. So the language is statically typed and uses type inference. So the easiest way to see this is to hover your mouse over any of the ports in the model that you're building, in the program that you're building, and when you do that you can see the type that is the type of that port. So obviously these integer literal blocks have type int. This block toString takes anything and turns it into a string. If we look here, we've got the string.join function, which takes a string and takes a list of strings and joins them together. So if we now add in another block, we're going to add in list.map. We can see that this takes a function and a list of something and turns it into a list of something else. So just before I connect this up to complete the model, I'm going to talk a bit more about how you use functions. So you might notice here that there's a little x, and if you press this x, it actually gets rid of the inputs, and you can keep doing that until there are no inputs shown. And as you get rid of each input, the type of the output will change. So now with no inputs, we can see that the type of this block is something that takes a function, takes a list of one variable and returns a list of another variable. And if I add just one input back in, you can see that now I have something that takes a function from one input to the next, then takes a list and returns a function that takes a list of one variable and returns a list of another variable. So by changing the number of inputs, you effectively change the arity that you're using for this function, and that allows you to do partial application. So if I add back the second input, this is now right so that we can connect the list of integers. Now for the function we're going to use, I want to turn each of my integers into a string. So I'm going to connect the toString function. We'll connect the output to the string.join function. And now just to show you that it's doing the type comparison, if I try and connect an integer to this, you can see that you get a type error, and you can see that whilst you've still got an error, you won't be able to compile the program. So if I now select the integer block and get rid of it by pressing the backspace key, then I can take this string and connect that to the string join function, and now all of the errors have disappeared and we should be able to compile the model. And after the model compiles, we can see that we get, as we expect, a string of the integers joined together with a comma separating each of them. And you can look at the code by clicking on the code tab.